Welcome to Lunch Therapy. Hey, it's time for Lunch Therapy. I'm your host, Joel Marshall, and we are here today to take a break from everything. I want to announce that tomorrow we're going to have an interview with the comedian Sally Mullins. So tune in tomorrow for Interview Friday. She's got a new Amazon comedy special, and she is just a very, very interesting person. So we're really looking forward to that. We're going to do our 3 breaths. And if you'll just join me right now and just being here in this moment, whether it's a break that you're taking or whether you're still in bed, here we go. We're bringing in the first breath. We're going to hold it. And let it out. Breath number 2. Hold on to it. Let it out. Third breath. Let it out. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Whether you're in the chat room or whether you're watching this later on, today is Thursday, May, God knows what. We are all getting high on our own supply because that's all we got, right? That's all we got. Todd Lee sent me a fantastic picture that is going to really catapult us into the show today. David, COVID. Yeah, so a lot of us, when this thing started happening, had aspirations to get super fit, and maybe they've gone another way. I love that picture. I don't know who did it, but it's fantastic. I am a person who has always struggled with their weight. I have been on a million diets. I was kind of a fat kid, so I initially started out just sort of being aware of my, being a little fat. Everybody in my neighborhood was super skinny or like in really good shape, and I just wasn't. So I had my comparison was weird, and then I became an actor. So being an actor, that's all, you think about that all the time. It's half of what you think about as an actor. So I have been on multiple diets with minimal results. I don't know if you guys have been on a lot of diets. Maybe you can list them in the chat room or on the Facebook or whatever. We are streaming to Facebook today and to YouTube and everybody. I'm going to try and I'm going to attempt to name every diet that I've ever been on. Let's see if I can do. I'm sure I can name a lot of them. Fit for Life, the Paleo diet, the South Beach diet, the Beverly Hills diet, the Atkins diet, the intermittent fasting. There was the diet that was like the American Heart Association diet. And there was the, where you just ate this horrible soup. You could eat as much cabbage and tomato soup as you possibly wanted, but you couldn't really eat anything else, and you had this smelly, horrible soup. I was on the Noom diet. I was on juicing. Yes. My friend, in fact, Doug O'Donnell gave me a juicer, and I was juicing, and that worked great for a while. The cabbage soup and the cayenne pepper. Yeah. I was on a diet where one day you could only eat bananas. And everybody who knew me, they were like, oh, God, is it banana day? Because I'd be so irritable. from Banana Day. There was the Mediterranean diet, the just vegetarian, vegan diet. I read this book where you combine foods and you couldn't eat carbohydrates and proteins in the same meal. I don't know if you guys remember that one. I was on the Ayurvedic diet, which is the Indian ancient 1,000-year-old tradition. My acupuncturist put me on a diet that I called the birdseed diet. And it was a birdseed diet where you just, it wasn't birdseed, but he gave me a little packet of bird seeds, and that's what you ate instead of meals. That was probably the most effective diet I've ever been on. I actually got, I could see my stomach muscles and stuff for like 5 minutes. I was like, sustain it. Can we sustain this? Nope. And then I just, back to the blood type diet. I haven't done that one, but I have heard of it. I also recommended the birdseed diet to my friend Tracy, who also lost weight, but then she cracked a tooth from me trying to eat that birdseed. You'd have to like put it in your mouth. It looked like birdseed. You have to put it in your mouth and you have to let it kind of soften, because if you started chewing it right away, you could just break a tooth. That's what we found out. But that guy was kind of a genius, Dr. Park. He, it was amazing how the fat melted off. But then I gained it back a little bit, and then I tried it again, and it didn't work at all for me. So I don't know. It was some kind of magic. There's the Eat, Stop, Eat diet. The what else? Raw food diet, where you only eat raw food. Dr. Park also cured baldness. It's so true. Let me post that. Yeah, he cured baldness. Dr. Park is a genius, by the way, this guy, Dr. Park. Liquid diet. Of course. We just eat liquids. There's the Optifast diet, which I think is like that. There's Nutrisystem. Yeah, we did that diet. There's the seafood diet, of course, where everything you see, you eat, right? Weight Watchers. There's all the calorie counting stuff, the calorie counting apps. There's the no carb diet. We just eat. Okay, I think we've covered most of the diets. If anybody else wants to tell me about their diet, just let me know. I'm a big fan of the Slob 90X diet, as you know. That's one of our sponsors, Slob 90X. They are, they do some really incredible stuff. They have a drink called the regression drink. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's some pretty potent stuff. I will see if I can, call that up for you, because it is, being a sponsor, that's, a diet that actually works, because your goal is to just kind of be a slow, lazy, ordinary, have a slow, lazy, ordinary body, right? Isn't that, that's the goal of that. Just a sec here. Let me see if I can find that, because it's a perfect opportunity for our sponsor to be on the show. Nope, can't find it. That's the way this show is. You got to just kind of roll with it. Ganell is on the gin diet, which is a lot of people lose a lot of weight on the gin diet. That's actually something that you hear about, like from movie stars. I wouldn't recommend it, but you do hear like Christian Bale. You're like, how did he lose all the weight from The Machinist? And it was something like, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to be cool or something, like gin and cigarettes or something, which is a good way to die without the T. Yo, Super Keck 111 is here from Twitch. Good to see you. Good to see you, Super Keck. Hopefully you're a subscriber, because this is a channel where we talk about some really interesting stuff, like how many diets there are and how many diets we've been on. I have this shirt on, Muffin Top Gun. I'm going to talk about that later. But now I have a segment for you because it's very appropriate to what we're talking about. It's fashion tips for the semi-fat. Pam, you did miss the breathing, but you can watch it later on, and you can also, you know the drill. You know the drill. Super Keck has a super cool icon. He does. I love that frog. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. It's from an animated show that I should know, but apparently don't. Sometimes my ignorance is flaunted, right? Sometimes we flaunt our ignorance. It's fun. So we're going to go into that segment with Kamala Lopez called Fashion Tips for the Semi-Fat. So let's just dive in. Here we go. Kamala Lopez, getting her on the line here. Okay, here we are with Kamala Lopez for our fashion segment, where I give you advice on your fashion that you can start using today.
Joel is so good at this. And this is a special area where Joel really excels. This segment is called Fashion Tips for the Semi-Fat. And a lot of us, are not fat, but we're kind of chunking out.
Yeah, most of my life I've been semi-fat.
Me
so
too.
I have a lot of experience trying to hide the semi-fat, give off the impression that I'm super fit, but only because I'm hiding the rolls of fat below my clothes in special ways. And this is where we're going to get tips on that, because I know a lot of us, we don't like to talk about the quarantine or anything in that, but a lot of us have been home a lot, and we're turning into mushrooms or muffins.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture, and you're going to tell me what it is about this picture that does or does not help you look slimmer than maybe you are. Okay, so here's our first picture.
Okay, that's a nice one. I like it. So there's a couple of things wrong here. First of all, this guy is super fit, and I think he is super fit because we can see his legs, we can see the muscles in his legs, we can see.
Those are practically jeggings.
Those are jeggings. What are jeggings?
Jeggings are legging jeans.
Legging
jeggings.
Jeans. So would these be skinny jeans, or are these like a whole new genre of jeans?
Well, there seem to be pockets. So jeggings don't have pockets. So they must be skinny jeans, Joel.
I want to make a point about pockets right now. Pockets are very, very important for looking skinny, because if you have like sweatpants on and then they have big pockets, it emphasizes the middle part of your body, the hippie part of your body. And so all of a sudden you look a lot wider in that area. It makes you look like a pear. A lot of times what we're trying to do here is to try and look more like a banana, less like a pear, right? More like a banana, less like a pear. It's a good rule of thumb. Like when you put on the outfit, you go, hey, do I look like a pear or do I look like a banana?
Well, I think I'm always going to look like a pear, though, and not a banana.
Oh, no. If you follow my fashion tips,
really,
you will look sleek.
So does this guy look like a banana?
This guy looks like a banana, but not because of the clothes that he's wearing. He doesn't need to cover anything up. I mean, basically, if I were to wear those pants, I would look like a centaur. And okay, a lot of the problem here is that they get really tight at the ankles, right?
Right.
And so when they get tight at the ankles, it makes because naturally your leg is going to be bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. But you want to give off the impression that proportionally, you're very proportional. And so that if the wider it is at the bottom, the less bulbous you look at the top. That's just the way it is.
Which is why you are a proponent of flared pant legs, which is unbelievably hard to find right now.
You can make the bottom of your leg look wider than the top of your leg, then it makes the top of your leg look narrow.
So you're for the elephant pant look.
Elephant pants. There's a fine line, right? There's a point where you get where now all of a sudden people know you're trying to hide something, right? And that's in the area of the muumuu.
Oh,
or the super wide leg pants. You don't want to go too far because people are like, there's something going on there behind the curtain.
Okay.
You don't want to show the man behind the curtain. I want to make one point here. If you are comfortable with your largesse and you are large, and you should just flaunt it and just go crazy and do whatever the heck you want. These are tips for people who consider themselves fit and have ego problems and really want to be kind of slim and come across in the world as somebody who is not like on the fence. Because you're either like very fat or you're skinny, but if you're kind of in the middle, it makes you look like you're not in control.
Oh God.
Right?
Lord,
so you don't want people to think you're not in control.
Yeah. Don't you find it interesting? I think it's interesting psychologically that when the society has an abundance of food, the model of beauty is very thin. But when the society has not very much food, the model of beauty is to be heavy. And I think it's just curious that it's just like whatever we decide is more difficult to attain, and more rare becomes the beautiful. In any case, let's move along to my next photo, which is this person. Can you see that?
No, I still see our friend with the red shirt.
Oh, okay.
I like the way he's hiding the busy on the top, though. The guy with the red shirt. He's showing it. He's kind of hiding it. It's kind of cool. That's one of the themes of this fashion tip is hiding things, like camel toes.
So I assume that means that the image has changed.
Yes,
and you're now seeing
changed. And earlier this week we had the prancer size person on. And
yes, that's why this picture's just stuck out to me, because is it the white pants that causes this unwanted definition? Or is it the tightness?
That's a good point. Yeah, I'd say it's a combination of both. It's because the white pants accentuate the shadows, because the shadows of any crease will be accentuated in the whiteness. If it was black, the shadows would blend in with the black, so you wouldn't see the creases as much. But there's just a general rule here. No white pants. There, I said it.
What?
I mean, if you're super skinny,
I love white pants.
You are like someone
I'm wearing white pants.
Yeah, well, the rule is no white pants. And if you do, it's just my general rule. That's my general rule, because whenever I wear white pants, it just, like busy on the bottom, it just sort of, it expands you on the lower part of your body. White expands, black narrows. Dark colors narrow, white expands. That's just what I think. If you're cool with the camel toe, then you should go for it. But in general, people are going to make fun of you.
It's terrible. It's not her fault.
No, I mean, she seems fine with it. She made it.
She looks very happy about it.
Yeah,
frankly.
I think it's,
I think it's her hair that's making her happy, because her hair looks amazing.
If I had hair like that, I would definitely feel happy.
All right, you ready for a new one?
I am.
Okay. Let's see. This is curious because we started seeing this fashion trend in Cannes 4 years ago. Cannes,
France. We're in France, where the fancy, fashion-forward people are.
Super fancy.
And in every
we were like, what?
Every window we went to, we were like, wow, that they need a tailor because their pants are high waters, right? It was kind of a thing.
And I thought, are they trying to make men's ankles erogenous because they're really sort of peeping them at you?
No, you know what they're trying to do?
What?
Sell socks. I found this out. First of all, socks like ties can be very, very expensive if you make them a thing. Somebody just told me recently, they were like, yeah, at weddings, if you go to a wedding, make sure you got cool socks, because that's the thing. It's like a tie now. Some genius in the fashion industry said, hey, how about if we raise up the cuff, then all of a sudden we can sell a ton of socks. And you've noticed his socks match the outfit. They're very fun. That's the other thing. You have to have fun socks now. So this is just an industry thing. They've just created an entirely new industry, because it used to be people then just wear black socks and you couldn't see them. So even if this guy, he has shoes that are a little high, and you still see his socks. Yeah. It's just a sales technique.
But I don't think it helps make people look slender.
Oh, no. I mean, you look, this is a good rule of thumb. If it looks like your clothes are too tight, then you've got a problem. So when you've got high waters, it looks like your pants are too small, like you wore your kid's pants or something. And then that accentuates. And then if you're kind of large, then it kind of accentuates that. And you look kind of like a big man child or woman child. And it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. This guy, of course, the thing is, we're looking at clothes with models in it. They could wear anything. You wear anything and they look great. This guy's one of those guys. But that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, look,
we're talking about
here's another guy.
Guns here.
But this guy is not even wearing socks at all. Can you see this guy?
Yeah. Let's face it. If you don't wear socks, your shoes are going to smell horrendous. And if you're walking around, schlumping around with your muffin top out and your feet smell, people are like, "Oh, what's that smell?"
This guy does not have a muffin top.
No, of course he doesn't. And he probably wore those shoes for one day and then just threw them out. I remember it was kind of a fad when I was a kid growing up to not wear socks. But we found out really fast that is a good way to have some smelly shoes. And you put them in the wash and they just smell like smelly soap shoes. So there you go. There's a lot of tips that people are learning on this show. You're welcome.
All right. Now this one, honestly, tell me, what do you do about this though? Really?
I can't see it yet. I still see the guy. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is another good topic. Men and women. I mean, this is a woman who is very appealing, right? She's very appealing. She has a little bit of back fat.
She's very appealing.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I liken it to you.
I don't know.
She has a similar kind of body type. She's very appealing. She's got that curly hair like you have today. How I walk myself out of that one. So she's got a little bit of back fat, right? And all of us, and most of us do, right? Most of us do.
Does she have back fat, or is it just that
it's the low waist
pushing it up?
It's the low waist and the belt, and the thing that catches your eye the most is the belt. Draws your attention right to that, and then above it is the muffin top gun. This shirt, by the way, is a comedian friend of mine, Josh Firestein. I think you can buy them on his website, Muffin Top Gun. He has a bunch of Tom Cruise movies as if he was Tom Cruise. And they have different names, but that's his routine. But this is his shirt. Funny guy. Anyway, so just, try not to accentuate that. And also get a mirror, hold it in front of your face, and look at yourself in the mirror behind you. And then you can see what you look like from the back, which is very important because most of us don't know what we look like from the back. And when we see it, we're like, oh my God, I look like Homer Simpson. There was that episode of The Shield that we were watching one time. And Kamala, you were like, watch this. You got to watch this. And, The Shield always seems like such a tough guy, Michael Chiklis or whatever. And he's just all really tough. And she's like, there's the actor, Michael Chiklis. And it was him walking away. He was walking away and he looked like Homer Simpson walking away. It was just a bad shot of him walking and you could see his back. And it kind of gave away the whole thing of like, maybe that guy's not so tough. I don't know.
But you know what Michael Chiklis is a trained effing actor, a Shakespearean
he's
actor.
So good. He's
brilliant.
So good. I don't mean to put him down. They just
no. But he's
a bad angle.
He's the schlubby guy. It's like Henry Winkler walking into the Fonz. That was a schlubby guy that somehow was elevated to cool. And in the same way, Michael Chiklis, God bless, let's hope that we get those shots at those kind of great parts. But he wasn't all ripped. He didn't like.
Okay, enough. Well, he stood up for Michael Chiklis enough, but it was funny to watch him just kind of Homer Simpson away. And, she's kind of doing it there. She still looks good. I'm not putting her down. It's just she could probably hike it up just a little bit more and it wouldn't look,
See, I'm not a fan of the pants with the lowered waistline. I think that it's more flattering to have a higher waistband. I don't know, because it would seem to me that that's the wider.
Again, it looks great on people who are super skinny. Really skinny. But a lot of things look good on those people. The high waters look good. In skiing, sometimes the best skiers, they wear the ridiculous hats because they're great skiers. You see the guy going down, he's got like a Dr. Seuss hat or something like that. And you're like, but he's such a good skier. You're like, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They can
Same
afford
with whatever, high waters or, weird pants.
What about that fedora thing you were telling me about? I didn't really understand that, because I think fedoras look great on you. When you wear them, it's just a whole thing. I love fedoras. What were you saying?
I love fedoras. I love wearing fedoras, but I also know that I'm taking a risk in wearing a fedora because people make fun of me. I go to a lot of comedy clubs and when you sit in the audience in a comedy club and you wear a fedora, I guarantee you the comedian will make fun of you. So there's like a thing. There's a thing about fedoras. And if you look super cool and you're wearing a fedora, that's like you've achieved something. You've achieved something. But if you're kind of a fat, schlubby guy and you got your fedora on, people are going to be like, what are you, a detective or something? It just opens you up. It just opens you up for ridicule. This is a segment about not being ridiculed, let's face it.
So that brings us to one of the things you're saying, which is don't call attention to yourself. Think sleek. Now,
don't call attention to yourself.
That's strange. Right. Don't call attention to yourself.
It's counterintuitive.
Keep your bathrobe on.
It is counterintuitive. But if you, let's say we've all had this experience where somebody invites us to a fancy party and we try on our clothes and we're like, nothing looks good. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Nothing looks good. I look like a schlub. What do? You don't go. No, or you go, but you wear something that kind of makes you look sleek and kind of downplays the schlubbiness, right? That's all I'm saying. And you don't want to go wearing a big, you don't want to go to the party wearing a half shirt unless you want to call attention to yourself. When I was growing up, that was like a thing in the 70s where guys wore half shirts. I remember on the football team, they gave me that as I was like the best player of the week or whatever. They gave me a half shirt. Put that thing on once. So that's what I mean by calling attention to yourself. But Philip Seymour Hoffman wears one in Boogie Nights, made him a star, let's face it. So, as an actor, you want to take those risks. As a human being, not so sure. All right, are we going to have to wrap this segment up? Or do we have another point that we have to get across?
Well, you're very opposed to elastic at the bottom of shirts, which again, not clear on.
Elastic is always a bad idea.
You'd like to tell us?
Elastic is always a bad idea because it bunches up. And where it bunches, it's going to have other stuff is going to have to pop out. So elastic, maybe not on your ankles. On your ankles, it just looks ridiculous. But if you put elastic on your waist, and it's tight, all of a sudden you've got rolls, and that's the last thing you want, rolls. Also, never wear like a heavy pullover sweater someplace where it might get hot, because you're going to have to take it off, and then taking it off, your shirt might ride up, and then all of a sudden there's all the globular fat. Try not to get invited to pool parties, because, people are just going to be like, hey, let's all go in the pool. And you're going to be like, I feel much better wearing my big sweater. It's just embarrassing. And then, people are like, why aren't you getting the pool? I don't, you put yourself in a bad situation. And don't go play basketball where it's going to be shirts and skins, because you always get skins.
So what I will say as new thing that you can do, though, and that many people do, is wear Spanx. And Spanx eliminates the rolls.
No. Spanx, no. See, you want to feel good, too. People wear Spanx, of course.
How do you feel good and be a female dressing in clothes?
In the movies, everybody wears Spanx, and, that's the movies. The movies, the problem is we look at the movies and we're like, oh, that's the way I should be. They're all wearing Spanx, or they're
all
CGI'd or whatever.
Spanx,
or, we look at the
Spanx.
fashion stuff and everybody looks, different or whatever. And we're like, how am I ever going to look like that? So we go get Spanx. And I granted, women wear Spanx, men wear Spanx. I personally don't like them because I like to feel as if I was slender. And when I put on that thing, it just squeezes me so much. It feels like, wow, dude, your clothes don't fit. You got to do something about that. It's a good motivation tool. It's a good motivation tool to lose the fat, because you're like walking around. Sometimes if I want to lose weight, I put on some really tight jeans and I walk around in it and I'm just like, wow, I got to do something about this because this is getting horrible. Yes.
Spanx are very good for keeping you from eating or drinking, because you don't want to have to go to the bathroom. It's a nightmare. It can actually be a tragic wardrobe malfunction. So you just have to just consume as little as possible, which adds to the whole point of the Spanx. And also, I just want to say that when you do feel very uncomfortable in the Spanx, but then when you put your clothes on, the clothes seem to fit so much better, because it's like squeezed you like at least 1 or 2 sizes smaller.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know. I've never worn Spanx for longer than like a couple of minutes. I'm like, get that off of me. And so, because it's like you can't breathe, like you're in a straitjacket.
You're claustrophobic.
I am claustrophobic.
That's why you're claustrophobic.
So now that at the end of this statement, at the end of this segment, I would like to make the statement that if you are fine with your body, wear whatever the heck you want. It's just neurotic actors like us that need these tips, because we need to feel
vain.
better.
Let's face it, we're vain
Hollywood
and we're
people,
aging, and that's a horrible combination.
All right, so thank you very much for being on the show, Kamala Lopez. Charming as always, beautiful as always. Hey, I'm back. So thank you, Kamala Lopez, for helping us out with that. Some real tips there. And also, I'd like to announce that tomorrow we've got Sally Mullins on here, and a lot of you know Sally. She's a fantastic comedian, hilarious. She's got her new show on Amazon. So come back tomorrow. Next week, I think we might have a contest. Yep, I think we might have a contest, and I don't even know how contests work. I got to check to see what the rules are, because there's so many rules in this thing. And also we'll try not to get banned from Facebook next week. If you guys have any, fun videos or fun things that you want to send to me, please do. You can send them to mythclubchannel@gmail.com. mythclubchannel@gmail.com. We're going to roll on out of here tonight. Sally does have a new special. It's called Sleazy Does It. We're going to talk all about that tomorrow. And I hope that you have a very nice Thursday. I'm going to end this with a little bit of Sheryl Crow, if I can do this. Let me see.